This is Zan, and you are listening to the Fish and Chips with the Traveling Bard podcast. I want you to kick back, relax, and enjoy your time here.
We're
live. What's up,
live.
Facebook world? We are live.
We're alive.
What's going on, guys? Xan the Artist here, Xan the Artist. Find me on all platforms, streaming platforms. Hit the link in the bio. Go ahead and show your boys some love. We're coming to you right now with the second episode of the new podcast, Fish and Chips with the Traveling Bard. So, we all know who I am a little bit. I want to give a shout out to my guests. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. And I'm going to pass it over here to my left and let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi there, I'm Jaz. I go by she and they, and I'm the crazy podcast producer here at Possibilities. I bring all the madness to the mic.
And I am Young. I go by he, him. Boo, sis, male, boo.
We all about love in here, bro.
All love.
I am a mailman, and I am just your friendly neighborhood guy. It's just here to discuss the things with my friends.
Things with our friends.
And
that's
my lady.
Absolutely. And, that's really what this podcast is about. Last week, I had my buddy Wardell Wilson, and we talked more on music and, what we connected with and how that friendship kind of formed into, family. Like, that's my brother right there. And this week, we want to talk about witchy things and this rising that we've started seeing all over the world, and witch talk rising and pagan and left-hand path stuff. So this is something that us three from, three obviously different, kind of social backgrounds, I should say, first appearances, what am I seeing type of background. We connect on things that are more elevated than that. So this is kind of showing you, and this is really what the podcast is behind, is showing that it doesn't matter what the external looks like. It all matters of what the heart and how the heart is and how you treat people and what you're doing out in the world. And you'll start to see the connections that we have with everybody and all of us. So let's talk about the age of Aquarius, guys. We've been seeing it. What you've been seeing on social media recently?
TikTok blowing up.
TikTok is blowing up.
All the feed, all the time. Everybody is experiencing it at some point, even if they are not using the vernacular. Something's up. I feel something. I'm waking up every day at 3 a.m.
Exactly,
I can hear it in the wind.
I can see it how people are interacting. Like, half of us are waking up and the other half are walking around like zombies, just checked out of reality. Well, the reality that we're currently living. But it's crazy. And, what we were talking about a little before we started recording was how we've started noticing, like, in October. That's when we switched over into the age of Aquarius. So those that don't know what the age of Aquarius is, it's the digital information. It's the information age. So if you started noticing that yourself or people around you are like, man, I want to just get better in life. Like, I'm tired of doing things how we used to. It's not working, a lot more people started going in, Would you guys agree with that? Just, you start seeing more people wanting to get to know themselves more and taking back their power and their strength.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people we only have one shot at life awakening, and the every day is a treasure realization. So I see a lot of more people trying to live in the now versus the past or future.
The meta,
yeah.
Taking every day as such, because tomorrow's not guaranteed.
No.
What do you think, bro?
I mean, I don't know. I see different type of lifestyles that people lead whenever I'm out delivering. And I do have to say that people do have different perspective of what we would like to call awakening and such like that. But
elaborate on that, man.
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that though we are the one that believes that this is the time, and I want to feel like the era for like change may occur. But I don't know, like we feel in our bones.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I feel like we've been feeling it since we were like in
our
intuition.
Yeah,
like,
our intuition's like,
yeah, like our hair, like neck is standing up.
Like everybody's like just
it,
giving that look, but before like these last few years, just kind of scared to speak on it because do I sound crazy? Am I tin hat theory? Am I whatever? But once you start seeing, and that's what TikTok is incredible for, like once you start seeing other people are like, wait a minute, someone else thinks like this. Someone else is seeing what I'm seeing. It gives you that freedom to really start having these discussions like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because before we didn't have the opportunity to get these snapshot or more in-depth moments into other people's lives. Some of us in here have call center experience and the unique opportunity to see people on a daily basis on certain routes of couriership. And I think now we were generally sensitive to that because we could get a gauge on society when we hear people call in or when we're handing them their daily mails. And now I'm noticing a lot of other people and feeling a connection with them in terms of like just empathetic understanding.
And even just like commonality,
Yeah.
like realizing like, yo, we're all thinking the same. All of us look different. But we're thinking the same on similar things. And you're right. I feel like people are being more connected with who they're supposed to be connected with. But on the other side, like you've seen a lot of longtime friendships and these things ending because maybe one person's on that woke path and the other still wants to be, you know, blind or ignorant and don't want to take, you know, accountability for mistakes that you've made. Like that's a big thing about, you know, a spiritual awakening and pagan and left-hand path and witchy stuff and anything you want to claim on the left-hand path. Like it doesn't matter. What matters at the end of the day is all about self-enlightenment. And that is whatever path you're on, that's the path you specifically are supposed to be on. So it's hard when you see somebody over here doing the same thing, complaining about the same things, never wanting to put in the time to better themselves. You see those people over here, but you have their best friend, like, man, I've known you forever, but something in me has changed where I don't want to be associated or a part of this. Like, I'm ready to grow and move on. And that means ending a friendship or ending a relationship, then so be it, but you're still going to mourn that, you know? So I've been seeing it on both sides, just sitting back watching social media. What about you guys?
For me, I definitely resonate with that because it's like, wow, I see your loop. I see my loop and I see your loop and I see either an ability or an inability to self-recognize that in oneself and choose whether or not they want to continue on that loop or break out of it and break out of that cycle. And it's really interesting because for me personally, I've been recognizing that in myself, and that has been allowing me to recognize that in others and kind of just understand where people are on their self-growth path. And for me, I've also recognized and been motivated and seeing people that are really trying to better themselves and improve their life and improve the life of others around them. And it's been really motivating to make me want to do that too.
Exactly.
And I'm choosing to not let that come from a place of jealousy or shame or self-doubt, but I'm like, wow, if they can do that, so can I.
Exactly.
So can I.
Exactly.
Yeah, I also want to lean towards that as well, but what I also see is that not a lot of people like lean towards what they want to do to better themselves when there isn't like positive reinforcements around them to give them a hand. Because I'm gonna be honest, like myself, like I like there's certain things that I do need help with. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, like on a mental capacity and not like physical. And I mean, even then, you know what I mean? Like I think that we sometimes need some help to get us where we need to be. Now, there's also a flip side of, you know, taking advantage of the help that you're being given and stuff like that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like on a more genuine level, like, you know, some people do just need a little tad bit of helping hand and, you know, they get on their way and, you know, do try to make their lives better.
Yeah.
You know, and not to disregard, like, you know, we all go through our own stuff. You know, we all go through our own daily trials and tribulations. And I mean, just trying to understand, I think really help us, us three in particular, where we used to work in a long way.
Absolutely,
So,
man.
You know,
and that's kind of awesome that you say that because a lot of people don't realize that. Yes, whenever you're on your self-development path, you're supposed to do it for yourself. Like, don't do it for any external gratification, anything like that. But at the same time, it's nice to know that someone who's just been watching you make these moves in silence are like, I see what you're doing. I'm proud of you. Like, that goes so far. That's why I try to, whenever I'm on social media, I'm not on that much because, you know, there's things I would rather spend my time with doing. But when I am on it, like, I really try to go out of my way to compliment people. Like, I see too much bullying online already and people just wanting to joke all the time. But, like, sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm watching you in the background and I think you're killing it right now. Like, keep it going. Like, sometimes it's just a little bit of somebody sees me doing this, so I know it's confirmation for myself that, I'm on the right path, you know? And I love seeing people glow up too. Like, it's awesome. I don't understand jealousy and pettiness of, you know, these shallow emotions when everybody can win. Like, we're only in competition with ourselves. And when you start to compare yourself and just put yourself like, I want to be like this person, X, Y, and Z, where I'm envious of them, like, realize that you can learn anything in life. Like, I have so many random expertise and different things in background just because I was interested in something long enough. Like, I just stuck with something long enough to become proficient enough in it to understand, like, this is really cool. So everybody, like, that's what I'm noticing in this awakening, getting back to the task at hand. That's what I started noticing in this awakening, that people aren't really in competition with others anymore. I want to better myself. I want to improve in life at least 1% every single day. And that's a tangible goal. Like, it's never going to happen overnight. So that mentality needs to be out of people's heads. But if I can improve 1% every single day, I know I'm on the right path. It doesn't matter as long as I'm taking one extra step in life every single day. Not all of our steps are going to look the same, but regardless, like, don't base yourself off of me. I won't base myself off of you, and I can only go where I'm supposed to go, where, you know, that's the only path I should be following and what I do know.
And I think that's the foundation of any spiritual path that makes sense to an individual. I think that's the heart of anything, whether it be Buddhism, paganism, Catholicism, wherever you go.
Taoism, yeah.
I am absolutely, and I am just so happy to see individuals be able to embrace that self-spirituality and let it take shape in whatever form is going to best help them in their journey.
And be proud to claim it in public. Like, a lot of times, like with the pagan side, like, people are doing it in the backgrounds. Not forget that I walk the left-hand path, you know. I know both sides well enough to know what I stand for and what I don't know. I've done my research, and this is where I've already been. This is the path I was already on. I just found where I'm supposed to be going, you know? And that's the thing about self-awakening. You're waking yourself up to whatever reality you're supposed to be in. So, yeah. But what have you guys noticed about yourselves, like, during these last, I would say even from 2020 on, like, do you feel like you're the same person before the pandemic, or do you feel like something internally has changed in you and changed who you are?
Oh my goodness. I think I can't speak for the both of us, but I've witnessed massive growth between the both of us. I definitely want to hear both of y'all's experience, but for me, I was working in call centers from like 2015 to 2019, and it was slowly like eroding my spirit.
I agree. Yes,
away.
bro.
It put me in a mental hospital for a week. And
like, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's actually why I had to leave that position, because it was brutal to my mental health. Like, it's a tough job, man. And that's honestly, like, you know, where we all cross paths with anyway. So talking about supposed to meet who you're supposed to meet, we all worked in the same place at the same times, and cross paths throughout that time.
Yeah, we all have this shared experience and deep understanding of society that not a lot of people get to hear or bear witness to on a daily basis.
Or have to, like, take, you know, the abuse that you take from people when they know that nobody's watching them. It's wild to see. Yeah.
And for me, one day I just had this moment of I can't do this anymore. And for me, it actually happened just slightly before the pandemic. For me, that really started waking up in 2019. I would say that spring of 2019, because that's when I had my trip, my fun, grippy sock fun time adventure. And shortly after that, I was like, I need to live for me. I went and got like some different kind of offhand jobs, and then the pandemic happened, and then I had no job, and I was like, I need to live, or I'm not going to.
Yeah. No, like, I completely, you know, I connect with that for sure. I think it was middle of 2020 when I was done. I just couldn't do it anymore. I could not make myself do it anymore, and spent the years learning how to master my skill in music. Like, I took that to learn myself, and I don't regret it at all. Like, I've made some great friendships that I still have to this day, because of the place. But I took the time for myself to get to know what I really want to be and really what I want to do in life. And I can sit here today and say, you know, I'm an expert at least one times over in every part of my craft. And I'm proud of that because that's what I was doing during this time. I was developing myself. What about you, man?
Well, obviously, earlier, prior to pandemic, we were all relatively at the same place, a couple of cubicles apart, I would say.
Yeah.
In person and kind of in life, huh?
Right.
You can't put it any other way. I then transitioned over to IT and then desk work. And then I was working from home for about 2 years. So, I mean, like, it was more of a, like, I went from someone that I felt would have been, I would say, outgoing. I would say that's who I was before, and like a lot more irritable, someone that has a lot more rage, someone that didn't want to go outside for anything.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I became like the day I realized that I became like a crazy introvert where I didn't want to go anywhere was I was coming home from work one day, from like a meeting, whatever. I had to meet him up for it. And I was coming home and I was just looking at the ground the whole time. I was like walking from my car up to my freaking apartment. I was like I was just like, dude, like it feels weird to even lift my head to look forward. You know what I mean? Like the whole shift of attitude from then until now. Like I'm more of a active job, so like you know, like I don't feel as much despair as I did before.
Man, I completely agree with that. Like I'm forcing it. I'm glad like we actually all got to go out this last weekend and hang out. It's forcing, like we're all saying, we're forcing ourselves to get back into that because, yeah, pre-pandemic, having fun, going out, just, you know, living life, doing whatever. And then I became a crazy hermit introvert and only went out when I had to do it and got uncomfortable, you know, being anywhere in public and just sus of everybody. And I'm like, this is not who I am. Like, just exactly like you said, this is not who I am. So this is a big goal for me. Just even, you know, doing this podcast and going live on social media is something that I'm like, there's a nerve there, but I'm making myself get out there and do it because that's the only way I'm ever going to get comfortable doing it, being able just to put myself out there. I'm a musician. Like, get out there and start performing and showcasing my music, bro. Like, just do it. Like, just getting on that stage, you're already ahead of 99% of the people. And every time you take another step forward, you're up another 99%. And that's how I look at life. So even just, you know, starting with this podcast and, you know, just having these connections and talking to people and having just to, you know, bond with people again outside, even like my job, like, yeah, I got one. I'm like, man, I cannot be in this house anymore. I'm like, I'm working a manual labor job. I'm connecting with my coworkers. I'm like, is this what it feels like to be like connected in like a society again? Like, it's like so
inner circle.
Inner circle. Like, we have inside jokes, like we kick it, like, and we absolutely just enjoy each other's company and we enjoy working with each other. Like, I've never had that before where, wow, we're like, this is really cool. Like, I like my job. That's crazy to say, you know? I know. After years of abuse, like, I like my job again. So I absolutely, you know, connect with that on a deep level, bro. But I'm glad I appreciate you guys coming on today, you know, just all putting ourselves out there. And y'all did this for me, and I'm greatly appreciative. And it's just cool that, you know, like I said, people from different backgrounds of life and creeds and colors or whatever can still find a way in each other's lives to not only help teach them about, you know, this is my little slice of the pie, teach me about yours, you know. And the more that we're all on the same energy and that synergy level, the more that we're going to be awakened. And it's just nothing but good and positive can come out of a society like that, where you have like-minded people that are wanting to grow and wanting to get better in life and being able to take, you know, the little victories as they come. But at the same time, like, if I see you doing something off, I'm going to call you out because I care about you enough. If I see you rocking it, I'm going to call it out because I care about you enough. And I feel like, I don't know, that's just really the mentality I'm keeping with people. Like, respect, love, you know, and just, you know, help each other elevate. Like, we can all win at this thing. So before we go ahead and wrap this up, guys, you want to shout out, you know, kind of things that you've been doing, any social medias, anything like that you want to just kind of plug to the people?
No, I don't have any
All right,
handles.
then.
I do not have any handles I want anybody to follow or be a part of. But shout out to my girl and boy for having me on. Just having a good time. I actually enjoyed listening to you guys more than I really wanted to talk.
It's all
really.
good, man.
Because I'm serious. Because like I see it every now and again, like the age of Aquarius. I mean, I'm aware. I just never had like an idea or like had people I could talk to about it on like a wider scale. So,
Absolutely, man.
It's been awesome.
I appreciate you coming on. What about you, girl?
Heck yeah, as always, check out Building Bridges OKC.org for all the latest podcasts happenings here in OKC. But yeah, that's all I got really. Just catch me on Instagram, jazzbot_talkspot, to see what we're up to, all the studio madness. And
yeah, I appreciate you. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit my profile, all my links. I will have last week's podcast linked up there this evening. I promise. And then whenever this one's available, we'll have it linked as well. So thank you so much again, you guys, for coming. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your week.
Peace.
Laters.
This episode was brought to you by the Possibilities Podcast platform.